Buying an AC today is honestly confusing. Every brand claims to be the best. Every YouTuber recommends something different. And after a while, all the specifications start looking the same. So before buying this AC, I compared 6 different models from some of the biggest brands in this price range and even built my own comparison sheet and scoring sheet to make the decision a little more objective. After comparing with features, pricing, warranty, and real life reviews, I finally decided to go with Samsung's WindFree AC. Now that I have been using it for more than 3 months, this isn't going to be another specification review. I'll keep things simple and to the point. I'll cover the actual price I paid, the installation experience, the things I genuinely liked, the things I didn't, and whether I think it's worth buying or not. This is an honest and unpaid review, so let's get started. Let's start with the price because that's probably the first thing most people want to know. I purchased this AC from Flipkart for around 30k after bank offers. I also checked offline stores, but Flipkart was significantly cheaper at that time, which made the decision pretty easy. Now, one thing most people forget that AC price is not your final cost. The installation charges itself was around 1400, but after adding outdoor unit, drain pipe, wrapping tape, and some miscellaneous items, the installation cost came to roughly rupees 3000. So while the AC cost me around 30k, the actual amount I ended up spending was around rupees 33k. The installation process itself was smooth. The technician arrived on time, was professional throughout, and completed the installation in around 3 to 4 hours. One tip I'll definitely give you is to cover your surrounding and furniture before installation. Once the drilling starts, your room can look like a mini construction if you're not prepared. The AC was properly tested before the technician left. Samsung also has a diagnostic check after installation, where the system verifies the installation quality and checks for potential issues such as leaks or improper connections. In my case, everything checked out fine. What I also appreciate is Samsung's follow up process. I received calls after the installation asking about my experience and whether I faced any issues or not. And they also shared a feedback form. Small thing, but it does give confidence that somebody is tracking customer experience after the sale. As for unboxing, there is nothing unusual here. You get the indoor and outdoor units, remote, batteries, paperwork, and the standard accessories required for installation. Now, before I talk about what's good and what's bad, let's answer a more important question. Why did I buy this AC in the first place? Before spending my money, I compared 6 different ACs. Yes, you heard that right. 6. From brands like LG, Panasonic, Daikin, Lloyd, Blue Star, and IFB. And yes, I may have taken this research a little bit too seriously. At one point, I had so many tabs open that Google Chrome probably thought I was opening an AC dealership. So here's the comparison sheet I created before making the purchase. I compared cooling performance, efficiency, price, reliability, and features, and then assigned weight based on what mattered most to me. Interestingly, both Samsung models ended up with the same overall score. For me, cooling performance and overall value mattered more than chasing the last bit of efficiency. That's why I ultimately chose the 2025 model. The newer Samsung 2026 model was clearly more energy efficient and would consume less electricity over time. However, the Samsung 2025 model offered slightly better cooling performance on paper, had almost all the features I cared about. Now, of course, spreadsheet don't sit in your room and cool it. The AC can look fantastic on paper and still disappoint in real life, just like most people. So let's talk about the reason Samsung scored so highly in my comparison sheet and whether those features actually held up after using it. First, let's talk about cooling performance. I've been using this AC for over 3 months now, and my room size is around 170 square feet. During peak summer, the outdoor temperature here usually reach up to 35 degrees. In these conditions, I generally have no complaints. It has lived up to my expectations. One feature that I have found surprisingly useful is Samsung's 5-step convertible cooling system. Depending on the situation, I can adjust the cooling capacity from 40% all the way up to 120%. If I'm the only person in the room, I can reduce the cooling output to save electricity. When more people are over or it's blazing hot outside, I can crank it up. Now let's talk about the feature Samsung loves to put on every advertisement, WindFree. Honestly, I went into this expecting it to be more marketing than reality. But after using it for a few months, I actually like it. Important thing here to understand is that WindFree is not designed to cool down a hot room quickly. You first run the AC normally in cool mode, and once the room reaches a comfortable temperature, you switch to wind free. At that point, instead of blasting cold air directly at you, it maintains the temperature through thousands of tiny micro holes on the front panel. Personally, I find it useful while sleeping or working because there isn't a constant stream of cold air hitting your face. Most of the time, I simply leave the AC in auto mode with AI energy mode enabled and let it manage everything by itself. According to the SmartThings app, AI energy mode helped me reduce my energy consumption by more than 20% in the last month. Another advantage of wind-free mode is noise level. I used my Apple Watch to measure the noise level from the exact spot where I normally sit in the room. I took three different measurements. First, this is the noise level with the indoor unit running at the lowest fan speed. Next, here's the reading with the fan set to its highest speed. Now, this is the noise level with the wind-free mode turned on. Overall, I found the AC to be reasonably quiet and never distracting. Moving on to SmartThings. This is honestly one of the better smart home apps I've ever used. I'll stick to the two features I use the most. The first is welcome cooling. As you get closer to home, the app sends you a notification asking whether you'd like to turn on the AC in advance. Walking into a cool room after being outside in the summer is definitely a nice feeling. The second feature is device care. The app keeps track of things like filter maintenance, usage patterns, and energy consumption. Instead of wondering when something needs attention, the app basically tells you. And finally, I like the design. It's clean, minimal, blends into the room nicely, and looks more premium than many of the alternatives I considered. Now, we all know no product is perfect, and there are few things I didn't like about it. The first one is the remote. For some reason, Samsung decided not to include a backlight on it. If you are someone who likes sleeping in a dark room, you'll understand the struggle. Every time I want to change a setting at night, I either have to rely on muscle memory or use my phone's flashlight. The second issue annoys me much more. The AC doesn't remember my preferred settings. Whenever I switch it on, it always resets to its default setting of 24 degrees Celsius and cool mode. In my case, I usually keep the AC at around 22 degree with auto mode and AI energy mode enabled. So every time I turned it on, I find myself pressing the same buttons again and again. Now, this annoyed me so much that I spent an embarrassing amount of time trying to find a workaround. And thankfully, I did find one. I'll show you exactly how I solved it in the verdict section. And honestly, after 3 months of usage, these are only the meaningful complaints I've come across. So, after using this AC for more than 3 months, would I buy it again? The answer is yes. After comparing 6 different brands, spending hours making comparison sheet, and now actually living with this AC every day, I can confidently say that I'm happy with my decision. The cooling performance has been excellent. WindFree turned out to be useful than I expected, and SmartThing app would be one of the biggest reasons I would recommend this AC. Any AC can cool a room. What separates a good AC than a great one is how easy it is to live with every single day. And in this case, this Samsung's really shine. Now before I end my video, remember the biggest annoyance I mentioned earlier? The AC not remembering my preferred setting. Well, I managed to solve it. Instead of changing the setting manually every single time, I created a simple SmartThing routine. Go to the routine section, tap the plus icon to create a new routine. Under if, tap device status, select your AC, choose the condition on. Under advanced setting, you can also choose how long you want the AC to stay in its current state before the routine takes over and change the settings. Now move to the then section. Tap control devices. Select your AC, set the temperature to 22 degrees Celsius. Change the mode to auto. Under options, you can customize any other setting based on your preference. Once you are done, tap done to save the routine. So yes, if Samsung adds proper memory functions in the future update, that would be great. But until then, this little trick works surprisingly well. And that's pretty much my experience after 3 months with Samsung's WindFree AC. If you have still questions, feel free to ask them in comments. And if enough people are interested, I'd be happy to make a dedicated video on SmartThing app. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, share and